I asked you guys to send in your product photos for me to review, and that's what I'm gonna do today. We're gonna go through 3 of them, and I got a lot to say about the last one. First one up is from Marty Strange. Thank you, Marty. So here we have a shoe floating with a cloudy background. Now, I love clouds, so I saw this one immediately, and I was like, this is something that I would actually shoot. Now, what I do like about it is everything is bright. You can see all the detail within the shoe itself, so nice job with that one. What I would have liked to see more of is right here, near the base of the shoe. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of a difference in the lighting, a little bit more contrast, a little bit more dynamicness within the lighting itself. Right now, we just have a flat light going across the entire shoe. Now we can see it all. It doesn't really make for an interesting shoe shot. So there's that. I would have definitely liked to see some type of shaping of light on the shoe itself. Maybe have a soft light from above that's casting down. That way there's some gradual gradient in the light casting over the shoe. That might have helped this shot a lot. Next, I'm gonna say that the backdrop and the shoe itself feel very separate. So what I would like to see is throwing a little bit of clouds in the foreground, some up here that's overlapping the heel, maybe something that makes the clouds just feel closer to the shoe, not necessarily overlapping it, but that way you can feel that there's depth and the shoe is falling through the air versus just having a Photoshop backdrop and the shoe right in front. That's gonna separate your amateur photographer to your true professional photography. Nice job, thanks Marty, moving on. All right, next one. This photo is definitely something that I would have done. I love the green light in the backdrop. I like the condensation use. The bottle looks very, very drenched, maybe a little bit too drenched. But overall, the composition of it, very cool. It's definitely in the realm of something that I would actually shoot myself. So diving into this one, I like the composition of it. I like the bottle right in the middle. It's something that I do all the time with all the photos that I shoot. But the green light in the backdrop, well, it looks like it's a green backdrop, and then you're putting a normal white light in the back of it, and you're creating that gradient glow. Cool idea, but if you're gonna do that, and your product is gonna be right in the center, right down the middle, you have to make sure it's even on both sides. This light is a little shifted to the right, therefore, it makes it feel a little bit rushed, and that's those finer details you need to pay attention to. Also, the backdrop itself is a little like a little fuzzy, and maybe it's a low quality seamless that you're using, but I would have cleaned that up, make it nice and smooth. That way it would also just elevate the whole backdrop itself. Moving on to the way the bottle is lit, you know, it's decent. It's lit well in the front. It looks like it probably had to be punched up in the shadows. It looks a little noisy, but you know, there's a hard highlight right down the middle of the bottle right here on the right side. So the lighting itself isn't consistent. It looks like it is a right side light, or excuse me, it's a left side bottle light and then a right in front light that's hitting the front of the bottle. And it's causing not symmetrical lighting gradient lines. So if you want it to be a high-end piece of photography, you either need to shape it from one side so it has a nice gradient of white, or have it nice and symmetrical. That's gonna make your product photography really stand out. Also, I'd cool it on the condensation. This thing looks drenched instead of it just being kind of misted. So that might be something that you wanna play with on the next one. But overall, nice job. Thanks. The last photo is by Janice.Irene.Lee. Thank you, Janice. This photo looks very similar to something that I shot in the past, so this is why I picked it. Now, let's dive into what I do like about it. Composition right in the middle, something that I would do. I've talked about it before, but there is some good highlights on this that's shaping the bottle. Problem is that there's not enough. You're shooting a black product on a black backdrop. You're gonna need to make sure that that product stands out. Right now, it kind of blends in, and I lose it a little bit. Right here on the top of the bottle, the right side of the bottle, and on the lid and the right side of the lid, we have some good highlights. I would like to see that all the way around the bottle, and maybe even having some of that gradient light hit the front of the bottle. That way it really makes it pop. You also have the YSL logo in the front that is all the same brightness. If you had a little bit of that light gradient going across it, that would have really made your photo stand out. Let's look at the overall image and the framing of it. Right down here at the very bottom, looks like we're losing some light, or it looks like it might be the end of the table. Either one, I would have just cropped it in a lot tighter, because even on the right side and the left side of the rocks, it looks a little empty. I would have just cut that all out so that it feels like the bottom of the frame was filled with rocks and not having this empty space in there. Last thing I'll talk about is this little light strip that's coming across the back of this bottle. Cool. It's definitely a trick that I've seen and I've used myself, but it looks a little fake, and it looks like it was put in by Photoshop instead of it being a actual casted light back there. It's very straight. It disappears as it comes through the bottle. I would have liked it to feel a little bit more natural. Maybe it spreads out a little bit more like this when it's coming behind the bottle. And then also I would have liked to see it more on the left side of the bottle instead of it how it disappears and then we kind of don't know what happened to the light after, you know, hides behind the bottle itself. But yeah, little things like that. Nice work, Janice. Thank you. All right, guys, that's the 3 photos I'm going to review today. Keep sending in your photos. I'm planning to do this a lot more. I'd love to critique and take a look at what you guys are creating out there. So please send them in my DMs, leave a comment down below. We'll do this again. I'll see you next time. Bye.